I'm Dame Zandra Rhodes, and I'm a designer known for my bold and colourful prints and shapes and doing garments for Freddie Mercury. I suppose you could say I started when Swinging London was going on as a textile designer, and I did designs for Foal and Tuffin, and I had a boutique called the Fulham Road Clothes Shop. And then I decided I wanted to make clothes, so I started to make dramatic clothes that were based on my prints. And I've been making these clothes since 1969, really until the present day. Well, it was one morning in 1974 that I had the phone call that a person called Brian May would like to come round with Freddie and look at outfits for concert. Well, I had a funny little studio, rickety little steps that went up in 3 stories, and one we did the printing, and the next one I did the designing, and on the top floor was a big pattern room where I had my rail and my machinists. So I thought, well, when I had the phone call from Brian, I said they'd better come in the evening because I didn't have a closed-in fitting room. So they came in the evening and up my rickety stairs, and I pulled out this wonderful caftan-like shape with wonderful wing-like arms, something like a kimono, really, I suppose you could say, except it had a tiny bodice in lace, and it was a wedding top I'd done. And he tried it on, and I said, look in the mirror, see how you feel in it, move around. And that's when you could see how he could move so wonderfully, and was in that top. And then Brian, I made wonderful pleated satin jackets for him. I mean, once looking with hindsight that he transformed once I saw him performing on the stage, and you could see how he moved and how he moved with the microphone and everything. But I mean, in mine, I think he was just looking at the mirror and thinking what the garment would actually do for him. It's wonderful with hindsight, seeing that I was part of an influence of a giant of the music world who really led the way in how he could move in clothes. I should say that he was really one of the first people to make those sort of impressions. I mean, I had made clothes for Mark Bolan, who initially had sort of probably done some stuff with glam rock, so maybe he thought of me for that. But Freddie's was a one of a kind. This Mark's was more narrow to his body and jersey and with his glitter around his eyes, whereas Freddie is the person who became one with the garment and made the whole garment move and be absolutely incredible. It's more surreal when I look back now and think about it. When I did it at the time, it was just that he looked marvelous in the garment and seeing him move, but I didn't know till I then saw him how he could liven things up when it was on the stage. I think Freddie had a wonderful eye for new things and pattern. You know, a man can easily wear a kimono as a woman, so he could put the expression into the garment and make it come to life. I did a huge show in Japan in 1971, which was modelled by Tina Chow, and I introduced Tina to Michael Chow, and so it was a very revolutionary time in my career. So Freddie came along just when I was still being very revolutionary. Well, kimono says to me, really, Japan, wonderful fabrics. It's really a vehicle for using fabric of a certain width to make both the front and the back and the sleeves. They all fit into the same width of fabric. So it's a very cleverly designed structural garment. I've probably done a few sort of slightly kimono style garments. You know, during my 1971, I did some with a wonderful sort of Japanese style quilted neckline. And prints have always been very dominant. So loosely, they connect with the kimono and kaftans. They're very timeless garments, and that's what's so clever about the whole thing. And I think that you could see from the way he collected that he had an eye for collecting beautiful things that had expression on the fabric as well as just the shape. And I think it does point out the importance of prints, which of course I'm a print designer and think prints and statement on the body like that is very important. I suppose what's really wonderful is people keep coming to me and I keep doing collections for them. Like we've just done a wonderful print collection for a Spanish designer and it's called Celia B, and it's covered in my prints. So we did do a range for IKEA, we've done happy socks. So all of the things involve putting pattern on things, and a very exciting, time it is really.